Millions of Americans are trapped in massive debt. And these people believe that their government, which is also trapped in massive debt, $22 trillion of debt, these people believe that their government is going to protect them and save them from themselves. Here's a news flash. It's Friday night here. It may be Friday night where you're at, maybe Saturday morning. But here's the news flash. Only you will be able to save you. It is Friday, March 1st, 2019. It's very late here in Southern California. It may be Saturday morning where you are. I want to go over a few things. Dow Jones was up 110 points today. Dow Jones broke 26,000 again. And according to all the business analysis, financial analysis on Fox News, MSNBC, things are great. Things are peachy. But looking at some of the numbers that I was reading today, I just don't understand why and how these markets can be booming and going up when there's so much bad news. It's almost like the more bad news there is, it just drives these markets even higher. Zero Hedge today article, Heineken USA cuts 15% of its workforce. Anheuser-Busch, Miller Coors, Pabst, all these companies have laid off employees. So if we're in a booming, robust economy, how come beer companies are laying people off? Here's another one. More than 680 stores closed today as the retail apocalypse rips through Tesla, JCPenney, Gap, and Victoria's Secret. Now, these stores didn't all close at once today. They announced closings for 2019 into 2020, but this is a lot of stores just by a few of the retailers here. Tesla announced it is closing 378 stores. It's closing all their stores. They're only going to sell cars online. So you can say goodbye to thousands of employees right there. Tesla was down 7.84% today, and Tesla is in major, major trouble. Read an article on Zero Hedge today, and it lists major points, major reasons of why this economy is not doing good, while we're being told that it is. I want to go over a few of these right now. Farm loan delinquencies just hit the highest level in 9 years. U.S. exports declined by $4 billion during the month of December. JCPenney's just announced it will be closing another 24 stores. Victoria's Secret's announced it plans to close 53 more stores. Thursday, Gap announced it will close 230 stores in the next 2 years. Now, I don't know about you, but this is a lot of stores that are closing in a healthy, robust economy. Payless Shoes has declared bankruptcy, and it's going to be closing all 2,100 stores that it has. Tesla is closing all of its physical sales locations and will only be selling vehicles online. Pepsi has started laying off workers and has committed millions of dollars in severance pay. The Baltic Dry Index has dropped to the lowest level in more than 2 years. This is the worst slump for core U.S. factory orders in 3 years. The list just continues to go on, yet Dow Jones up 110 points, breaks over 26,000 points. These markets are so detached from reality, it's unbelievable. But the news continues to get worse, yet the media, the business analysis, the people on all these financial shows are telling us that things are great, the economy's healthy. Larry Kudlow came out this evening, said that the economy's booming, everything's great. I disagree. There's just a lot of real serious red flags here that are a real cause for concern. I'm going to continue with the list here. We just witnessed the worst decline in the Philly Fed Business Index in more than 7 years. In January, sales of existing homes fell 8.9% from a year earlier. That was the third month in a row we have seen a decline of at least 8%. This is an absolutely catastrophic trend for the real estate industry. U.S. housing starts were down 11.2% in December compared to the previous month. As I've said earlier, I think the biggest gauge for an economy is the real estate market. Southern California home sales were down 17% in January compared to a year earlier. In December, home sales in Sacramento County fell a whopping 22.5% compared to a year earlier. Southern California, Northern California, these are some of the wealthiest areas and some of the hottest real estate markets in the entire country. And we're watching what is happening here. And I can tell you, seeing Southern California real estate falling in double digits is, I mean, a major, major concern. This does not happen very often, and this is a serious warning sign with regards to the economy. Pending home sales in the U.S. have now fallen on a year-over-year basis for 13 months. Now here's another big problem we have. $166 billion in student loan debt is now seriously delinquent. This debt is 90 days delinquent, and it's climbing every day. Another big warning sign, which we've talked about in the past, 7 million Americans are delinquent on their auto loans. They are 90 days plus delinquent. Now, how many people do you think are 30, 60 days delinquent that this is not telling us? So this is, how are these people going to get caught up? When you're 90 days behind, you're not getting caught up. Even these people that may be 60 days behind, even 30 days behind, more often than not, they're not getting caught up. They're going to lose their car, and then how do they get to work? When most of America, or almost half of America, 44%, don't even have $400 saved up, how are these people going to survive? Now your car is gone. You have $100 in your checking account. How do you get out of this hole? It's really a very scary time here in America, especially for most of America living paycheck to paycheck. I think about close to 80% of America is living paycheck to paycheck. You fall behind in your rent. You fall behind on a mortgage. You fall behind on your auto loan. You fall behind on your credit cards. What happens? You're in big, big trouble. And this is the direction America is going in. This is not a healthy economy. This should not be happening to a majority of Americans. People are working 2 jobs, sometimes 3 jobs, and they cannot keep up with the bills. They cannot keep up with the major inflation we are seeing taking place here. Unfortunately, most of the jobs created in America are part-time, and they're low-wage jobs, and it is not going to support the economy here in the United States of America. We have more AI coming. We're going to have more machinery coming and taking and replacing these lower-paying jobs. What are we going to do with all these people who cannot afford to live? I think that we have to come to the conclusion that there is no recovery. We've been trying since 2008 for a recovery that has never taken place. We are going deeper and deeper into debt as a country. Households and people are going deeper and deeper into debt, living from paycheck to paycheck, just trying to get by. People's standard of living is decreasing while the cost of living continues to skyrocket, while inflation skyrockets. There's no way anybody can tell me today that this economy is getting better. You can believe what MSNBC tells you. You can believe what Fox Business. You can believe what all these financial analysts are telling you. What all these television shows are telling you. But I think you have to be honest with yourself. You need to get prepared, because this is just the beginning, and it is only going to get worse. I'm going to wrap this video up, but I want to discuss one more thing before I do. There was another article. It's floating all over the internet. It was on Zero Hedge. It was reported by a couple different news outlets that the United States of America, the government, cut a deal with ISIS over in Syria, cut a deal for several hundred ISIS members, high-ranking ISIS members, that we have allowed them to exit Syria in exchange that they give us their 50 tons of gold that they took out of Iraq and parts of Syria. And so we came to this agreement, reported by a couple sources. You can Google this, go to Zero Hedge, it's all over the internet. But the United States government cut a deal with ISIS, and we have received 50 tons of gold. It was flown out in helicopters and was placed in a U.S. military base for safe holding, and where it goes from there, I have no idea. But when we look at Venezuela selling gold in the tons, we see the U.S. government cutting deals with ISIS in return for 50 tons of gold. When people say, what are you going to do with gold when things get bad? It seems like there's no shortage of people around the world, no shortage of central banks, no shortage of countries that want gold and have no problem giving you paper money in return for the gold. We'll even let ISIS members live in order to take gold. So this, I think, just tells you the power of gold and silver. Silver could quite possibly be gold on steroids. We saw the metals get pretty much destroyed today. US dollar surged, the stock market surged, and I think that had a lot to do with the metals being pushed down. But you look at the stock market, people who have some money can earn no money on it because your bank is going to pay you next to nothing for it. So it is forcing people with money to gamble it at the roulette wheel of the stock market because they have no choice. And so a lot of money, since there are no options, a lot of money has been forced into the stock market. So money going into the stock market, the US dollar surging, the Federal Reserve saying that they're backing off quantitative tightening, and that there probably will be no raises in the rate this year, although that is not a guarantee. But if they run into trouble, they're basically saying we will see more quantitative easing. So they're basically ensuring that if there's problems, that they will lower rates, they will drop more quantitative easing, and everything is going to be fine. So they're reassuring that they're going to keep pushing these markets, blowing the bubble up even bigger, and so more money is going into the stock market. Very, very dangerous times, and this could end very, very badly, and it's another reason why you must be protecting yourself with precious metals, with hard assets. Again, it could be farmland, it could be gold, it could be silver, but I don't think there are a lot of real serious options out there. The two most undervalued assets in the world are going to be gold and silver. Of course, you want food and water and all your preps put away, but we're talking financially. I think the two best assets in the world are going to be gold and silver. The Federal Reserve can only push this game for so long. And if we see them lower rates to zero again, when we see quantitative easing coming back and more printing of the money, it's going to absolutely decimate what is left of the US dollar. At that point, hyperinflation kicks in. Your dollars are going to buy you absolutely nothing. And this is going to happen to many countries across the globe as we see an economic global depression take place because of massive global debt. And as countries continue to print their paper fiat currencies to the moon, devaluing them, at some point they're going to be worth zero. And the people who are going to survive and win and prosper here are the people that hold real money, gold and silver. On that note, have a great weekend. God bless. Stay safe. I'll talk to you guys very, very soon.